Welcome back to StorySpin. Today we're diving into the DMs that destroyed a marriage. This one's called I Found Out My Husband Was Cheating Through an Instagram DM from His Side Chick. Let's spin it. I'm a 29-year-old woman married to my 31-year-old husband for 3 years, together for 6. We met in college and I thought he was my person. We have a 2-year-old daughter together. I work from home doing social media marketing and he's in tech. We both make good money, but I handle most of the childcare because my schedule is more flexible. Last Tuesday, I got a DM on Instagram from a girl I'd never seen before. The message said, "Hey girl, I think you need to know something about your husband. I'm sorry this is how you're finding out, but he's been lying to both of us." My first thought was, this had to be some kind of scam or catfish situation. But then she sent screenshots. Messages between her and my husband going back 8 months. Not just flirting. Full-on I love you messages. Photos I'm not going to describe here. And worst of all, him complaining about our marriage. Saying I was boring and always tired and that he felt trapped. This girl thought he was separated. He told her we were getting divorced and that he was just staying in the house until it was finalized. I sat there staring at my phone in complete shock. My daughter was napping, and I just broke. I screenshot everything this girl sent me. Then I did something I probably shouldn't have. I went through his phone while he was in the shower. I found the messages, but also dating apps. 3 different ones. His profile said he was recently single and looking for something real. On one app, he had recent conversations with at least 6 different women. Some of them were asking about meeting up. When he got out of the shower, I was sitting on our bed with all the evidence laid out. I asked him to explain, and he tried to gaslight me. That's not what it looks like. She's crazy. Those apps are old, I forgot to delete them. But I had timestamps, recent messages, everything. So then he switched to the classic "it didn't mean anything" defense. He said he felt like we'd grown apart since the baby, that he was just looking for attention, that he never actually met up with any of them in person. But here's the thing. The girl who messaged me, she had photos of them together. At restaurants I'd never been to, at his friends' house parties that I wasn't invited to because I was home with the baby. She knew details about his life, about his family, about me. She knew my name, knew about our daughter, knew we lived in the same city. She thought she was dating a single dad who was about to be divorced. She was as shocked as I was to find out he was still married and lying to everyone. I asked him how many women he'd actually met up with. He said just her. I asked how many times. He said a few. I asked what a few meant. He said maybe 10 or 15 times over the past 8 months. They had a whole routine. He'd tell me he was working late or going to the gym, but he was with her. Sometimes at her apartment, sometimes at hotels. Meanwhile, I'm at home with our toddler, making dinner, doing bedtime alone, thinking my husband is just working hard to provide for us. The worst part was reading the messages where he complained about me to her. He told her I let myself go after having the baby, that I was always tired and no fun anymore. He said sex with me was boring and routine. He told her he felt like he was too young to be tied down and that marrying me was the biggest mistake of his life. Reading that felt like being punched in the stomach. This man, who I thought was my partner, was literally trash-talking me to another woman while I was raising his child. I asked him if he loved her. He said no, it was just physical. I asked if he loved me. He said yes, but he needed space to figure things out. I asked if he wanted to stay married. He said yes, but he wasn't ready to give up his freedom. I asked what that meant. He said he wanted to stay married, but also wanted to be able to see other people occasionally. I asked if he thought I was stupid. He said no, he just thought I'd understand that men have needs and that this was normal for married couples. I told him that was not normal, that was not marriage, and that he needed to leave. He said he'd cut contact with all of them, delete the apps, go to therapy, whatever I wanted. But he also said he didn't want to get divorced, because it would ruin our daughter's life and destroy our finances. I asked him why he didn't think about that before he started cheating. He said he wasn't thinking clearly and that he never meant for it to get this far. He said he loved our life together and didn't want to lose his family. Here's where it gets really messy. I messaged the girl back to thank her for telling me. She asked if I was okay and if I wanted to talk. We ended up on a phone call that lasted 2 hours. She told me everything, how they met, what he told her about me, what their relationship was like. She said she was falling in love with him and was planning to move in with him after his divorce was finalized. She had no idea he was lying about everything. She was as hurt as I was. She also told me something that made everything so much worse. She said she'd been to our house. Not inside, but he'd picked her up from our driveway multiple times when I was out with the baby. She described our house perfectly: the color, the front door, the car in the driveway. She said she thought it was weird that he was still living in the family home, but he told her it was just temporary until the divorce was finalized. She had no idea I was still living there too. I asked her if she'd been tested for STDs. She said no, because he told her he wasn't sleeping with anyone else. I told her she should get tested, and I was going to as well. That's when it really hit me. Not only had he been cheating on me for 8 months, but he'd been putting my health at risk too. I'd been having sex with him this whole time, not knowing he was sleeping with other people. I felt so violated, so stupid, so angry. I told him he needed to leave that night. He said he had nowhere to go. I said that wasn't my problem. He said he wouldn't leave because it was his house too, and he had a right to be there. I told him fine, but I was taking our daughter to my sister's house, and we weren't coming back until he was gone. He said I couldn't take his daughter away from him. I said, "Watch me." He got angry and started yelling, saying I was overreacting and that this is why men cheat, because women blow everything out of proportion. I packed a bag for me and the baby and left. I'm staying at my sister's house now. He's been texting me nonstop, alternating between apologies and anger. 1 minute he's saying he's sorry and he'll do anything to fix this. The next minute he's saying I'm being dramatic and that every guy does this, and I should be grateful he was honest when he got caught. He's also been posting on social media like nothing happened, sharing memes and liking other women's photos. I talked to a divorce lawyer yesterday. She said, because we have text evidence of the affair and he was spending money on other women, I have a strong case for getting primary custody and a bigger share of our assets. But she also said divorce is expensive and could take over a year. I'm scared about doing this alone, but I'm also scared of staying with someone who could lie to my face for 8 months while I'm raising his child. The girl he was cheating with texted me again yesterday. She said she's been thinking about our conversation and she wanted to apologize for her part in this, even though she didn't know. She said she broke up with him and blocked him everywhere. She also said she talked to some of the other women from the dating apps, and at least 2 of them also thought he was single. She said she wants to testify for me in the divorce if I need her to. I don't know if I should take her up on that or just try to move on. My family is being supportive, but they're also asking if I'm sure I want to get divorced. They keep saying things like, think about your daughter, and that marriage is hard work, and maybe he's going through a midlife crisis. My mom keeps asking if I'm sure I want to be a single mom. My dad keeps saying maybe you can work it out in counseling. But I keep thinking about those messages where he called marrying me the biggest mistake of his life. How do you come back from that? I'm 29 years old with a 2-year-old daughter, and I'm about to be a single mom. I'm scared about money, about dating again someday, about my daughter growing up in a broken home. But I'm also angry. I'm angry that he wasted 8 months of my life while I was being faithful and taking care of our family. I'm angry that he put my health at risk. I'm angry that he made me feel like I was crazy for thinking something was wrong when he was acting distant. The worst part is that I keep thinking about all the times I asked him if everything was okay, because he seemed off, and he made me feel like I was being paranoid and clingy. All those nights I went to bed alone because he was working late or too tired from the gym. All those times I tried to plan date nights or be more spontaneous, and he said he was too stressed from work. Meanwhile, he was using all his energy and attention on other women. I keep going back and forth between wanting to fight for my marriage and wanting to run as far away as possible. Part of me thinks maybe he's right. Maybe I did let myself go after having the baby. Maybe I wasn't being a good wife. But then I remember that I was taking care of our child while he was out cheating, and I get angry all over again. I don't know if I'm making the right choice, but I know I can't trust him anymore. And what's a marriage without trust? So that's my story. I'm getting divorced because my husband was cheating on me for 8 months with multiple women, and I found out through an Instagram DM from one of them. I'm scared about the future, but I'm also relieved that I finally know the truth. If anyone has been through something similar, please tell me it gets better. Because right now, it feels like my entire life just fell apart. So there you have it. Another marriage destroyed by someone who thought they could have their cake and eat it too. The audacity of telling your wife she's overreacting to finding out about your 8-month affair is truly something else. Let me know in the comments if you think she made the right choice or if she should have tried to work it out. And if you've been in a similar situation, drop your story below. Sometimes we all need to know we're not alone in this mess. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more stories about people making spectacularly bad choices. Trust me, there's always another train wreck just around the corner. Until next time, keep your DMs closed and your standards high.